Hi, this is Carlos Cousins. This is a paired short passage question that is asking us to consider the answer choices to see if any provide us with an idea that was discussed in one passage but not in another. For this sort of question, what you need to do, of course, first is read both passages, figure out what they're talking about, and then talk about what claims they're making, what pieces of evidence they're pulling to back up those claims, and how they feel about what they're talking about. But specifically for this problem, the claims that are being made, the questions that are being asked, is going to be enough to answer this question. I'm going to show you why. The author of passage 1 starts immediately with a question here. Why is it that our society has turned more and more to the internet for social communication? And her responses include things that are things that she's wondering about, things that she's not sure. Perhaps the anonymity of the internet lends us a degree of confidence. And then another question, or do we feel more comfortable interacting when our encounters can be fleeting and superficial? So what we see here is that we're asking questions, coming up with potential theories as to why online communication is appealing. And we don't see any of that questioning on this end. And if you believe that this answer choice is wrong because of a statement such as, for example, although users are generally interested in social connection, there are a number of ways in which microblogging could be more practically useful, which is talking about why the phenomenon that passage 2 is talking about, microblogging, is appealing. The problem here is not really about how it's appealing to people. It's talking about how it's useful as a tool. In fact, in this very sentence, the author of passage 2 is talking about people already being more finding more appeal in simply the social connection aspect of things. Whereas the author of passage 2 is highlighting things that are practical but not necessarily prizing the social connection that people already find appealing. So this is why this is the right answer. But let's go ahead and consider why the others might not work. So means of taking advantage of social networking websites. Well, I'm not really given any means of taking advantage of social networking websites on passage 1. If anything, we're simply told of a bunch of websites that exist, different formats that there are for personal interaction to occur over the internet. So this one doesn't make sense for that reason. We're talking about elements of social media discussed in passage 2 and not in passage 1 that might have worked. Information on a more recent internet phenomenon. Well, both of these have information on more recent phenomena. The constantly growing amount of sites in blogging, gaming, and networking, at the least, is discussed in passage 1. And then in passage 2, we have, of course, all of the microblogging examples. This new Twitter feature, for example, is already a new phenomenon. This fourth answer choice here, the many formats for social interaction on the internet, well, they are definitely discussed, even if not listed exhaustively in both passages. We've got blogging, gaming, and networking here. We have social connection and microblogging as at least different formats. There's a distinction made here, so that doesn't make sense already. And then this last choice, ways in which the internet assists communication. Well, the author of passage 1 definitely talks about that, and we have to stay connected, which is talking about the only way that you can be connected to someone is through communication. This is a fair assumption to make, that we're talking about social connection and the realization that that's something that's prized by people. Also, the way that one is able to communicate ideas that are not politically controlled, which is what these microblogging sites are about, is inherently about communication. So that's why this last option doesn't make sense either. I hope that helped answer this problem and understand where the difference between both of these passages is coming. Happy prepping.